mi gente bella? What's good? What's poppin'? It's your girl, Amara la Negra, and you're listening to Exactly Amara, a production of iHeart Radio. Bueno, ustedes ya saben que I'm always lit. I'm always trying to find new topics, new things to talk about. Thanksgiving, mi amor, in my house, I don't know how it is in yours, but in my house, we don't do nothing. I really feel como que Thanksgiving is more of a family, family thing. And I'm not saying I don't have family like that, but honestly, my mom immigrated here to the United States by herself, and her family has become our friends. So we end up going to our friend's house or whatever, but en la casa en sí, nosotros no cocinamos and we don't do none of that. But I definitely want to know, how do you spend your holidays? How do you spend your Thanksgiving? Go to Exactly Amara on Twitter and on Instagram and let me know, how do you spend your holidays, especially Thanksgiving? But before I get into all the details of what Thanksgiving means to me, some memories that I've had when it comes to Thanksgiving, and my real thoughts on, coming together as a family and celebrating such an important day. Because como dicen, en la unión está la fuerza. When there's unity, there's force. I first want to bring my producer as my guest because last time we did this together, we did such a great job and the chemistry and the vibe was so good. He's always behind the scene, but this time I want him to be on the scene. So, Alex, what's good? What's poppin'? Thank you so much for coming in today.
No doubt. I'm glad to be back here with you again. I think that we did such a great job last time. Yeah, I'm glad you brought me back.
Claro que sí. Bueno, mira, in your house, ¿verdad? How do you spend your holidays? Well, now Thanksgiving, because esto por parte. Primero viene Thanksgiving, and then everything else comes into play. Pero Thanksgiving, how do you celebrate it at home?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because you know what? I think every year, earlier and earlier, people start putting out Christmas decorations, right? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you go to the stores, everywhere is like Christmas is the very first
right
thing
after
that you see.
Right after Halloween, everybody starts putting Christmas things up.
I know, yeah. So, as far as for me, like from what I remember as a kid growing up, like I lived in Puerto Rico until I was 8 years old.
Okay.
So I don't think we celebrate. I can't remember that far back, unfortunately, but I don't think we really celebrated anything on the island with Thanksgiving. I mean, we had parties, right? Because living down there in the island, you had parties for the entirety of the holiday season.
Yeah.
But I do remember coming back here to the United States to live. That's when things really started like kicking for me, and remembering like my earliest, memory of all this was going to my cousin's house, and having everyone come over and being like, "Who are these people?" Right? Like, I just came here to the States. I don't know who anybody is, but it was a good way for me to kind of get into the whole and the way this country celebrates it, right? With food and everything, it's really remarkable. So yeah, so that was like my earliest memory. Did you ever, like as a kid growing up, did you go to people's houses? Did your mom ever do anything at home, or was it just completely skipped over?
My mom was, mira, yo te voy a decir la verdad. My mom was always working during the holidays because my mom used to work in un comida por libra. It's these places where like it's very well known amongst the Latino community, but they sell the food by the pound. So my mom, for the holidays, she used to have to cook, for everybody else that wanted to come into the store and take food for home. Da 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 da. So I remember just being in the kitchen with her until like the next day. She would literally not sleep. She would be there cooking for so long. The holidays never really was a thing for me. And I almost feel like Thanksgiving to me, it should really be about coming together, the family. Let's share, memories. I mean, at least that's how I would want to do it with my family. But let's share memories, toda esta cosa. And to me, it's like, Thanksgiving is about the food. Everybody wants to come to your house a comer. I don't have like the most positive outlook when it comes to certain holidays. And then, I don't know, I'm not trying to be stingy tampoco, ni que yo sea tacaña, pero I feel like siempre le toca, I mean, if you go to somebody's house, I just feel like rules and regulations are, lleva algo, por favor. Don't come here empty-handed, just con la barriga vacía and your mouth ready to eat. No. If you go to somebody's house, lleva aunque sea una botellita de vino, llévate un jugo, llévate un plato de platanito, tostón, take una ensalada de codito, something. Pero don't just show up to people's house ready to eat, entonces arriba de eso, you want to take to your house for the next 3-4 days. No. You have to have some, that's important. We need to talk about the protocolo, como etiquette y protocolo,
Etiquette,
the
yeah.
etiquette when it comes to going to somebody else's house for the holidays. One, let's get to it. One, if you're bringing kids, and I'm getting ready for mine, and I already have my speech together. If you better not act like you hungry. You better not ask for anything. You better sit your ass down real quick.
So you are just like when my mom, when I would go to the to my family's house, even my aunts and uncles, they'd be like, oye, cuando tú llegas ahí te sientas en una esquinita y no te mueves, oíste. No pides por nada. Si quieres agua, espera hasta que te la den.
Así
If you need to
mismo.
use the bathroom, espérate que vaya a la casa.
Exactly. Because then it be showing like you ain't got no damn manners. And then you'll be eating como que you've never seen no food in your house. Como que you starving. Entonces everybody gonna be like, damn, you a bad parent. Your kid comes over here hungry as hell, tearing everything up. Y mira, siéntate. Don't touch nothing. If I see you, and then you squeeze your lips like this and you look at, if I see you, mira. So I get your kids together. Practice the don't touch, don't ask for nothing speech at home. That's one. Two, if you're gonna be there, another thing, it's not just don't touch anything, pero estén pendiente con los ojos arriba de sus muchachos. Because if you're going to somebody else's house, you want to have a good time. It is your duty as a parent to make sure you have your kids under control. Nobody else should be babysitting your kid. I don't care who it is. Everybody's trying to have a good time and celebrate, so that's important. Si usted va a comer, another thing, no se llene el plato. Don't. I know que hay gente that you eat with your eyes. Entonces you get a plate and you just, ay, yo quiero esto, and you just stuff your plate full of stuff que después you don't get to eat it and then you throw it away. Eso es un pecado. That is so messed up to have to throw the food away. Get a small portion, get what you're going to eat, and if you want seconds, get your ass up and get a little bit more. But don't throw away the food.
That's something my parents also taught me, yeah.
Yeah. Another thing, if you're gonna go to somebody else, like I said before, no llegue con la mano vacía. Eso se ve muy mal. Párate en el supermercado. Stop at the supermarket and just get something or ask, right? Because that's another thing. Mira, I'm gonna go to your house. Would you like me to take something? For the most part, they're gonna be like, oh, no, don't bring anything. But if you bring it, they're gonna take it. So, if you don't know what to take, you can always take dessert. You can't go wrong with that. Te trae un apple pie, un bizcochito, whatever. Bring something that's out of courtesy, especially if you're thinking of taking food. Another thing, don't go into people's house with a damn plastic container from your car. Let me get the container from my car so I can take some leftovers to my house. No sean así. Don't do that. That's so messed up. Do you have any etiquette or any rules and regulations not to break?
Yeah, so that was number one. My father was a cook in Puerto Rico, right, for many years before we moved out here, and he always wanted to make the pernil. Always. Like we didn't eat. Yeah, we had turkey, but it was like a minimal amount. But we would also bring the pernil just in case. And that was one thing he would always say, like, I'm gonna bring something. And my aunt, we would always go to Titi Nereda's house. Shout out to you, Titi Nereda. And she would go, and obviously her oven would be full, making everything else.
Right.
So we would, all take our pieces of what we wanted. So whether it be the pasteles, arroz con andule, or whatever.
So good.
We would make it, and always, every year until I left my home to go to the Marines, we would always bring something.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Un postre, tres leche cake, whatever,
yes,
flan.
leche flan. So
yeah.
good.
So for me, now as a grown-up, that's instilled in me.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime I go to my parents' house or anyone's house that I end up going to, we either bring some type of dessert. We bring some type un vino, like you said, un rojo. You bring that with you. And as of late, now that I'm older and I'm, thinking back about when my parents were my age, that right now, that coquito, you make your own coquito, you bring it in as that special drink, for everyone. So yeah, so my two daughters were the same way. We would go to my parents' house when I was growing up because I was divorced. So I would take my daughters with me, and I'd be the same thing. Hey, listen, if you guys want anything, you ask. Now I wasn't as strict as my parents with me, right?
Right.
Like if I hear you breathe, we're leaving.
Yes,
But
basically.
yeah, but I would grant them, the ability, and this is the thing, and your mom's gonna do it, so get ready for this. Uh, Once they are grandparents, whatever rules you had will never apply to that kid,
I know, I've
or in
heard
your
that.
or in yours, two kids. You
Yeah.
know, so you got to get ready because they're gonna be spoiled.
That's crazy because my mom used to beat my ass. And I remember I used to go to my room and be like, you fucking bitch. And I would just hit everything. And I would just be like, you know what? Oh my God, I can't wait. When you go to sleep, I'm gonna wake up and I'm not gonna be here. And I would get my book bag and I would stuff clothes in there and everything. And I would just stand behind the door like, ooh, just watch. And then I would literally like try to leave and then bring my ass right back home. So, there was a lot of things that I did that I think that my kids are obviously probably gonna do it to me because the cycle repeats. But I told my mom, mommy, well, this is just changing topics real quick, but do you think that when I have my kids, you're gonna spank them? And not spank them, beat their ass. Porque eso de spanking, I don't know about Latin. I'm gonna pow pow. No, tú le vas a dar su cocotazo. And she was like, no, niña, pero ¿por qué? No hay que hacer eso. I'm like, ¿por qué? Because you beat the hell out of me. I still got scars in my legs. Yo, you beat me so much that I even turned out to be an artist. And I'm like, say no to violence, because I'm not saying de que a child abuse ni nada de eso. Pero sometimes talking doesn't work. Every parent has their own method. By the way, we should do a show about that. But every parent has their own method. Hay algunos parents that use la chancleta. Some of them used to use the belt, the hanger, the ¿cómo se llama? The branch, whatever, from the tree. Everybody had their own thing, and things work differently for, I'm going to take your iPod away or whatever. I personally think that after you say things 2 times or 3, that's an automatic, I'm going to beat your ass. That's it. Like,
Yeah, that's
that's
yeah.
it. It's like when you're driving and you get a warning. After that, you get a ticket. So it's like, I've already warned you, and I warned you about what's gonna happen. So that's it. But with that being said, you know who deserves to get some ass beats too? Anybody that goes to your house for Thanksgiving and gets drunk, your ass needs to get a whooping. Mira, we're not doing that. Don't go into some. I know that you get excited. I know that you get happy. I know que estamos celebrando. I get that part. Pero vamos a tener un poquito de control with your mouth. If you already know that you're feeling a little sassy, you're feeling a little saucy, después de 1, 2 drinks, 3 drinks, 4 drinks, ya, está bueno. Where are we going? Why we gotta go all the way over there? Keep it nice, keep it juicy, keep it light. And another thing that's very important also is that during the holidays, we also know that a lot of people have accidents, and we want to prevent everybody from, no, don't drink and drive. I know you've already heard this 1,000 times. You're still going to do whatever you want, but at least I told you, don't do it. Drink enough to feel good, to feel nice. And even after you're drinking, if you feel that you need to stay at this person's house, stay. And if for any X or Y reason they don't let you stay in their house, stay in your car. Baja la ventana, get in your car, echa el asiento para atrás, take your seat back, and just chill. Relax. Chill till you feel good. If your intuition tells you, yo, I ate too much, I've been drinking too much, I had way too much fun, I'm tired, be tired. That's it. Don't go nowhere. And not only that, the drinking and driving, pero que también sabemos que the popos know what time it is. And they is ready outside in the streets, ready to give y'all that ticket. So quédense tranquilo, hay que tener un control. También this goes for the family members. If you have any friends también that, you see your friend getting a little bit lit, I feel, I may be wrong, it is your responsibility as a friend or as a family member, if you see somebody doing too much, aconsejalo. Don't just watch them drinking and going crazy and not say anything, and you see them get in the car and you're like, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. Say something, because then God forbid something goes wrong, you're going to feel so guilty and so responsible, right?
And it's always this time of the year that the most accidents happen, and it's proven that they usually happen after holiday parties or holiday events. And just like you mentioned, that my uncle loved to drink. He had his Coors Light every Friday after work. Had his little Coors Light, and you knew my uncle was feeling, great when the bachata came on.
Oh,
boy, oh boy,
Ah,
when he would turn on that bachata, you knew he was already
he
saucy.
was saucy.
And that's one thing. You're the host. You're at home,
Mm-hmm.
but he was also had the right mind to know that if he was feeling good, possibly other family members were feeling saucy as well. And there was always an inflatable couch. There was always a room to give away if need be, right? There was always a couch to sleep on.
Yeah.
It didn't matter, and that was one thing that we did a lot. My cousins were living by Coney Island in Brooklyn, and I live in Jersey. So we knew that, traveling that late at night, knowing that people were also on the road, perhaps drinking,
Yeah.
my uncle would say, hey, you're staying here. Make sure you pack a bag. So we did that for many years where we would stay by them until they moved to Jersey. And even then, we still, even though we lived like 10 blocks away, we would still just stay over the night or whatever, and it was great. I do have a question for you, though. Did you guys ever have, you said you went, even as a younger, you guys went to other people's houses?
Yeah, I would go to other people's houses. Not every Thanksgiving, because for the most part, whether it is that when I was younger, my mom was the one working, and then as an adult, it's funny how unconsciously you repeat the cycle. Then it wasn't like a thing for me to like Thanksgiving, Christmas. None of those things have ever been a thing to me. I don't really. It sounds messed up, but I don't really like care too much for it. I'm like, is there work? Is there a show? Can I be on stage? Is there a radio show? What am I doing? I feel like, the holidays is time for you to work. And it's like, the rest of the time, bueno, está bien. Even like last year. Last year, I was on stage with Pitbull. I was on stage with a whole bunch of big artists. There was a huge concert here at Bayside, Miami. And it was New Year's, and everybody was with their families, que si la jubita, and the grapes. And to me, I was like, I'm over here rehearsing with my dancers, getting my show together. So it hasn't really been a thing to me, pero I always did, try if I could to go to somebody's house just for the food, really.
Do you feel you want to change that for your kids? Do you feel like you want to start your own traditions and something moving forward so that they can have that as well?
It is so weird, but all of a sudden, ever since I've had this motherly instinct thing happening inside of me or whatever, now I'm thinking like a mother. Now I'm thinking like my mom, and I'm like, what the hell? So yes, I'm thinking about like, oh, I want to give them tradiciones. I want to give them things that they can pass down to their kids and be like, oh no, my mom gave this to me. So all those things that I couldn't do, I'm such a workaholic. It's like, to me, it's like I work. Sometimes, even sometimes to do this podcast, I be caught up like, oh my God, I'm doing so many things. But at the same time, now that I have kids coming on the way, I feel like I want to make time for them. I want to be able to say, no, these days I don't work, because I want to be able to give them that time. So definitely I want to change the traditions of not celebrating Thanksgiving or Christmas and doing it and showing them that this is a time for us to come together as a family and doing all those things that I never got to do. So most definitely, and I want to create my own traditions too. There's things that, for example, I don't know, you can come up with something that's different, that's special, that no one has done in your family, but it stays amongst you guys. And they'll always have those memories like, oh my God, I remember with my dad, we used to do this, da 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 da. And it's new, it's different. You can just come up with it. It could be the smallest little thing, but what seems small to you will be big to them, that they will always remember. Like, damn, I remember we used to do this. So I definitely want to create those memories for them.
And I think most of it for you, Amara, might be coming from the fact that your mom did work. Your mom had to work. Your mom was trying to provide for the family. It was it wasn't very easy for her to come by, right? To have to build those traditions, but she was still trying to give you that time, even though she had to work, right? Because you are now, you're very fortunate to now to be able to care for your mom, right? And give her those things.
I'm about to tell her to take her ass back to work, but I hear you.
Thanksgiving is canceled, mommy.
Yeah, take your ass back to work. Yo, it's tough out here in these streets. I got this many damn bills, and I got 2 kids. Help!
But yeah, so I think for you now, as you're right, it's a mother intuition, right? And for me, I got married very young, and I had my kids very young. So
which is great, by the way. I almost feel like I wish. It depends. And I'm going to ask you this too. Hay una diferencia, and we'll talk about this later too. And this is another episode. Pero when you have kids earlier, I almost feel like you mature faster, and then you get to enjoy your kids. Y ya cuando ya tú estés como más adulto, your kids are growing up with you. You get to like enjoy them. But then, so those are the benefits. But then there's a lot of things you don't get to experience. There's a lot of things you don't get to live. There's a lot of things you have to like cut off. But then when you get older, it's like, okay, I already lived my life. Now I want to have my kids. And it's like, yeah, but now I'm old and I'm tired. Nobody got time for that. How do you feel that the holidays have been for you since you actually had your kids early?
Yeah, so obviously I had a great family upbringing with the events and stuff like that. And there was times that my dad was a truck driver. So yes, there was times he had to work. But he would try to get off early, and we could do the Thanksgiving traditions and whatever. But yeah, so once I had my kids, I kind of like instilled all those things into them, right? I passed it down like, this is what we did, this is how we grew up. And once I got divorced, you do the separates, right? So now there's 2 Thanksgivings and 2 whatnot. So I did my best to give them as much of me as possible. So like Thanksgivings would be split, right? They would do early with their mom, late with me, but I'd still give them the traditions. And for me myself, I would have to. They would sometimes sleep over, more or less. They would go with their mom back home late at night. So because of that arrangement that I had with her, I still was able to go out and do my things. I was still able to go out. If I wanted to go to, with my adult friends to a small event and party.
But you just gave a really good point that I hadn't even thought about, because that's what I'm saying now, thinking as an adult, now thinking as a parent. How do you think that may have affected, or did it affect, or did it take some time for them to accustom to like, we have to split sometimes with dad, sometimes? How was that?
So for them it was kind of seamless, because when I separated from my ex-wife,
they were young.
They were young. They were 3 and 1.
Oh, okay.
So they had questions coming up, right? Because obviously, she got remarried or whatever. But it was more or less like her and I can say, had a really good working relationship as parents, right? So we knew that the holidays were pretty big for both of us, right? So we would split it a certain way. We would act certain ways with the kids. We would come together to give gifts or whatnot. So for Thanksgiving itself, though, there was times that I would get invited over by her mom, So I had a really great relationship with her parents. I still do.
Okay.
And I would come over and have a little bit of a food before I took off to go see my parents. So for them, they never had it bad, Amara, because they saw that there was some type of good friendship there. There wasn't any animosity. There wasn't any bitterness or anything,
That's
like anybody
good.
arguing. So I gave them that. And growing up, now they're 21 and 18.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Yeah.
they already got used to that. They're
Yeah,
like,
so they're doing whatever they want, and even now, like I've instilled the traditions of like Thanksgiving and coming together as a family.
Do they
And I
still
grew
come
up.
over?
Yeah. And I grew up in this country, right? So since the age of 8, so you grew up with other friends of mine that have traditions like that, like getting together and whatnot. So I wanted to kind of like continue to give them that. Even now as they're older, the first thing they ask me about is like, hey, what time you guys doing dinner? Or like when are And I'm like, I know they drive,
Right.
but me as a dad, you guys need me to pick you up? What's up?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Whatever you guys
but
need,
you're
just
like
let
a
me
cool
know.
dad, though. I'm not even gonna front. Like you're.
I'm
Like,
still in my 30s, so that's
what
the
I'm
good
saying.
thing.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like, oh my gosh, Lord, I don't want to be out. Lord help me. I don't want to be an old boring mom, because I'm lit now. But when my kids are like in their 20s, I'm gonna be like, look, if y'all don't shit your ass up, I ain't going nowhere.
But moms have changed. You're changed. You're a new age style mom.
That's true.
You're gonna be hip and cool. You're gonna have your. I think that for you, Amara, I think you're gonna have such a great time with your kids. I think that I could already see the change in you, and I could already see what's happening. And I can tell you that I think once you start, a year from now, we could be doing this podcast again, and you'll be in a totally different world.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, hey, close the door.
Yeah.
Shut up.
But you'll also be thinking like a mom. What can I do to make this special for them?
Yes.
Right. So the something like Thanksgiving. Now you're gonna start a tradition with your mom.
Claro.
Right. That your mom is gonna be involved with.
Yeah.
Right. So whether it be the kids running around saying, grandma woke up early, ella está haciendo unos pasteles or whatever she's making. And that's one thing I remember, Amara, was waking up, because my dad would wake up like at 4 o'clock in the
Oh
morning to
my
put the
God.
pernil in the oven,
Oh, el
right?
pernil. Yeah, that needs
So
some
you wake
time.
up with that smell in the house,
Mm.
and you have the little bachata playing in the background, or already, La Mega over here be playing a little bit of Christmas music, una
Yeah,
parranda, So like it's those
it's
things that
nice.
you're going to feel
Yeah,
when
it's
you have
nice
your
for
kids.
sure.
Yeah.
And you know something else that I do want to teach my kids? It's gonna sound awkward, but I'm gonna teach them how to clean after Thanksgiving party's over. That's another thing. Let's hit that point. When you go to somebody's house, or even if it's in your own house, I don't care how big, how small you are, because usually they'll leave it to the elderly, they'll leave it to the moms. Después que la mamá tuvo que cocinarle a toda la familia, o la tía, or whoever, entonces everybody wants to act como que I'm already stuffed, I can't move. They can have food coma. Entonces I'm stuck over here. No, no, no. That's another etiquette that we have to learn. Once somebody cooks, you have to participate somehow. Or at least offer. Even if they tell you no, you don't have to. But de cortesía, you're like, oh, do you need any help? Do you need... And you're praying inside that they say no. But, if they ask you, mira, bótame la basura, o recoge ese plato, or, whatever, it's a nice way also of you participating. If you didn't bring anything, or whatever, you didn't know what to come up with, at least try to offer some help, because they already went out there, they bought the food, they've been cooking since early in the day, they try to give you the best, ambiance, they've been a great host. Just put a little bit of your part, and I'm sure that they're going to be thankful that you at least tried.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So like we knew that mi titi, she would be making the night before guayando guineo para hacer los
Los
pasteles a
pasteles, oh my
mano,
God, pastel en
you
hoja,
know.
it's so good.
Yeah, so we knew that they were up the night before. We knew my father was up the night before making the pernil. So like for me and my cousin, and everyone else, the first thing we would do is like once everything's done, it's like we would, try to sneak our way back into the bedroom to go play some Sega. But we would kind of just like, help out and clean up a
Yeah.
little bit. And that's what my daughters do now. They're like very helpful. They're very hands on. And I just believe that you're gonna have the same experiences, and you're gonna be able to do that for them as well. Give them etiquettes, right? Like
Yes.
help clean up, whatever it is that you think should be done. And again, this is something great because you're doing it for the first time for not only for yourself and your kids,
Yeah.
but you have your mother involved,
I
right? Which is
know.
great. Your mom is here. Your mom's still young. Your mom's still, vibing and doing
Yeah.
her thing.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure. I
and
definitely feel like I wanted you guys to hear today on the podcast, exactly, Amara, not just about my own personal experiences, but also just hitting certain points, just in case you forgot, certain etiquettes that you do have to have, or that you should have when you go to other people's house, or even in your own house. Expect these things from people that come into your household. But also to just share, my thoughts, my feelings of how now, I am going to start creating my own traditions. I am going to start actually being part, and now I feel like I am creating my own tribe. I am creating my own people. Now I feel like, damn, after these kids, I need to have more kids so I can continue to
literally.
create more people that I can, rule. I am the leader of my empire. But I think it's important to remember at the end of the day that Thanksgiving really is about coming together as a family, coming together as a whole. And when I say family, family doesn't just mean the people that you are blood related to. There's some people that you meet throughout life that become your friends, that become more than friends and become real family. There's more, in my case, I have more real friends that have turned out to be family for me than my own family. Invite them. That's another thing. Don't forget, don't feel like, oh, this person might already be doing something. Just the action of the thought of you calling someone or reaching out to them or texting them, hey, listen, if you're not doing anything for Thanksgiving, come through. Just that small little action, you don't know what that can mean to someone, because at the end of the day, a lot of people are putting a facade or showing you what they want you to see of them, and you truly don't know what they may be going through, whether it's financially, emotionally, whatever the case may be. So just a little offer of like, yo, listen, come through. There's some food at the crib. Just come vibe, And even if they say no, at least you put out that positive energy. You put out that love for them. So I think that that's super important. Like I said, Thanksgiving is not just about hartándose. De que I'm just gonna go stuff my face at somebody's house. It's a moment to come together. If you haven't spoken to somebody in your family in a long time, take this opportunity to reach out. Or if they're there and they're just sitting there, hey, mira, ¿cómo tú estás? Whatever. Even if you see them once a year. But have that bonding connection. Another thing, drop the damn phone. Drop the phone. Most people want to go to all these, events, holidays. Yes, I get it. You want to have memories. You want to post on Instagram, da da da. But don't post that you're a happy family on Instagram to then get off Instagram and then ignore the fact that they're
Correct.
there. The moment that you're there, be present. I think that right now it is so important, and I'm learning this myself because I am a phone like freak. I'm on my phone all day. I'm on Instagram. I'm on this. I'm on da da da. All these things. But learn to be present. If you're there for 2-3 hours nada más, or whatever the case may be, suelta el teléfono. I'm not saying you can't look at it. Ay, mira, me llamo fulanito. Or, FaceTime a family member that's far away that maybe can't make it. And you're creating that family bond by doing that. Pero don't be on your phone, Instagramming and chismoseándole la vida a everybody else when you're right there at a moment. You're missing the moment. You're not living the moment because you're caught up on somebody else's life on social media. So drop the phone, enjoy the moment. And if you do use your phone, use it to create memories. Use it to take pictures. Use it to take videos. Download it on your phone, on your iCloud, so that years from now you can show it to your kids. You can show it to your family. You can have these memories because we're here today and we could be gone tomorrow. Sometimes we take life for granted. We take our friends for granted. We take the people that love us, that support us, the people that care about us for granted. Like, whatever, fulanito's there, fulanita's there. It's like, no. Aprovecha el momento. Agradece. Say I love you. Say thank you. Say something nice. Don't start no fight. Don't start no beef. Don't go to, what I mean? Oh, because fulanito, you said this about me. Because I remember... This is not the time. We just went through the coronavirus. We are the survivors, okay? We just survived the pandemic. So please, this year, let's be grateful. Let's be cool. Let's have a vibe. Let's appreciate the fact that we're still here. A lot of people didn't make it. A lot of people are going to have to celebrate this Thanksgiving, and there's going to be a lot of empty seats on that table. Let's be grateful for the fact that we're still here. We have our health. We have our family. And if for any X or Y reason you lost a family member, I'm so sorry for your loss. But let's share the memories of when they were here in a happy place. Grateful that God gave you the opportunity of being able to share and experience that life with that person. I just want this year to be more of a positive vibe. There's so much negativity happening already in the world that if you have a little couple of 1 hora, 2 horas, 3 horas de Thanksgiving con tu familia, make the best out of it. Juega dominó, make jokes, take shots, dance un merengue, una bachata, pull somebody out and be like, oh, let's dance. Make the best out of this year. You got the power to make that difference because you narrate your story. It's really up to you. Either you could sit there, be bored, look crazy, look, tired or have an attitude, or you could be like, you know what? I'm going to take control of this situation and I'm going to change the narrative, right?
Agreed. 100%. Be present. I like that.
Be present.
That should be today's go-to. Be present.
Be present. Be present. Be there. Enjoy the moment, and just celebrate Thanksgiving de verdad from your heart. Like mean it. And I'm so excited because this year I'm gonna start my own tradition. Oh my gosh. And my babies are not even here, but I just want to start practicing. With that being said, you know that I love you guys. Thank you so much as usual for joining Exactly Amara. My producer, Alex Cardoza, or Cardoza. Thank you so much for always being such a cool producer, for always having such a good vibe. I'm gonna have you my Thanksgiving in spirit because I'm sure you're gonna be with your family también. Post some videos and some pictures of your traditions. I want to see what you guys do for Thanksgiving. Post it and hashtag Exactly Amara, whether it's on Twitter or on Instagram. Go to our social media platforms at Exactly Amara. You can also check out all of our podcasts on YouTube at Exactly Amara on the search bar, or Amara La Negra or Amara La Negra ALN. Just Amara La Negra, you're going to find it. Don't forget to rate us. Rate us 5 stars. You already know this podcast is lit. We always bring you new content, new information. Sometimes it's more fun than others. Sometimes, we got to educate. And sometimes we just, I'm here talking shit. But hey, we need that sometimes too. So don't forget to rate us and share this podcast with all your friends, with anybody that you know. Share it, especially if you know that there's somebody that needs to hear this. Share this podcast with them, Exactly Amara. This has been a production of iHeart Radio's My Cultura Podcast Network. For more podcasts from iHeart, visit the iHeart Radio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. You already know what time it is. It's your girl, Amara La Negra. Thank you for listening to Exactly Amara, and enjoy your holidays. Gang, gang, gang.